Join us as we traverse through time and space.
On another episode of whatever this is.
GoPro, stop recording. I'm Batman.
Thank you, GoPro. All right, here we are at the Riverside Cemetery in the town of Fort Edward, New York, and we are still on the Washington County side of things. And this is, hey, Sarah gone rogue. Look at the size of that tree. Take 5 people to give that a hug. Okay, this is a great old cemetery. Let's see, we'll go over here into the old side first. And this cemetery is still in use today, so which is always interesting. All right, it's John Stewart, died 1856, 61 years. Margaret, wife of John, and she died in 1860. Okay, let's see what we have. Daniel Tubbs. Daniel Tubbs died on January 13th, 1857, and he was 79 years, 9 months, and 27 days, and a veteran. And here's his wife, Mary, and she died, well, she died at 74, 1848. Nicely carved stone, nice and deep. Helps you to read it. And then we have this poor friend who has come apart in the middle. Daniel, looks like Daniel Tubbs, a different Daniel Tubbs, and another Tubbs. That's odd. This is Mary Tubbs as well, wife of Daniel, born in died in 1897, so different Tubbs, but same names. Interesting. So here's a whole lot of Tubbs. My goodness. We've got, that looks like Margaret. Oh, they all died in their 70s. Goodness. Henry. Oh, Henry died at 17 years. Harry, and this is son of Daniel and Mary, died 7 years old and 3 months, 1850. And then they get harder to read. Another child of Daniel and Mary, and Charlotte, or Charlotte. Yeah, hard to read. Between the low light and the lichen. So here we go. All right. Now this is an interesting old cemetery, set on the banks of the mighty Hudson River. This is Lydia M. She died in 1861, 23 years, 4 months, and 2 days. That's a neat cemetery. There is I believe it's a James in the back. We'll go check that out soon enough. And the last time I was here, up in one of these old pine trees, was a pair of eagles, and they were flapping and dancing and having themselves a grand old time. Well, here we are, Sarah, wife of Charles Harris. And she was born 1825 and she died in 1853. Oh, young. And here's Charles next to her, who died in 1858. 31. My goodness. Jacob Pike. It's Abigail, the wife of Jacob Pike. And just some very simple stones. Not a lot of soul effigies, but these very simple, mid-1800s stones. Which, when you can read them, can tell you a lot of things. If you can't read them, well, you're screwed. So here we are. Here's a couple. Here's Jane, wife of Simon. And there's Simon. And Jane died 1844, and she was 72. That's a good old age. And here's her husband Simon, who died at 77. Well, they had a good long time together. So I wonder how many of these right here next to them are their children. And they're very hard to read. So we won't know. That's why it's important to read. If you can get into like county documents and stuff, you can see all sorts of interesting stuff about who's buried where and what's going on. And anyway, so if you know me, you know I like to look for certain shapes, and certain shapes go, oh, I think I know that shape. Well, here's one of those shapes right here. This roundy top and the ears and the like. Okay, so not a thing to be seen on this side other than moss. So let's see if there's anything on this side. It's leaning against this post. Oh, heavens to Betsy. And, yeah, not much. Nothing there. Obscured. Gone to Mother Nature. Right shape. Love to know what it had to say. There's some other similar shapes over here. Let's see what we can find on these, if anything. All right, there's a little bit of writing. No face. Mr. Samuel Poole. Something Ransom. No dates. This could have been a footstone. Which means the headstone is gone, because I'd be standing on it if that were the case. So here are a couple of probably James finished up for sure, 1798, in memory of Jacob Ransom. Memory of Jacob Ransom, son of Mr. John and Mrs. something Ransom, who died 1798, 20 years old. And there's a face in there. Can you see it? You can see you. There it is. And the classic James. Well, and this classic Collins Carver. But James, because, well, Zerubbabel was long dead by now. And this is another son of John and Mrs. looks like Susanna Ransom, who died in 1798. Hard to see the writing piece, but the carving is a little bit more clear. Beautiful work. So very classic. I think there may be, well, maybe that was it in this cemetery. I don't know. Let's nose around and we'll find out. Or as I like to say, let's fart around it and find out. So some nice urn style. But just mostly simple stones. This is I would say a rural community, rural, by the river, mostly farming. There's a beauty, in the classic urn style. Memory of, don't know, Samuel, looks like Samuel Porter died, I'm thinking 1837, 58 years of his age. So anyway, here we go. Now this is erected in the memory of somebody, Patrick, who departed this life 23rd March 1825 in the 12th year of his age. Well, here's a neat stone. Oh, Samuel Lewis. A lot of people named Samuel. So here's Samuel. And the interesting part is this down here, this detail. And that's just when I think I remember all the wonderful things in this cemetery. Look what's back here. This is a fabulous, fabulous example of a James finishing up a Zerubbabel. Beautiful. In memory of the worthy Mrs. Abigail Payne, the amiable consort of Daniel Payne, who died June the 5th, 1796, in the 25th year of her age. She was worthy. She was the amiable consort. She's got a beautiful, beautiful Collins carving headstone. So they carved over in Shasberry, Vermont, which, you know, you've heard me say that before. So we're pretty far from Shasberry. And here we have Mary. Mary is the daughter of Daniel and Sarah Payne, and she was born in August 1818, and she died August 2nd, 1854. And let's see what's over here. Plus I want to show you the river. So we have some other little urn styles. These are very primitive. Hard to know what's going on here. This guy's fallen over, and these are, the tree is growing into them. Look at that. Mother Nature, she claims it. Okay. Over here is what I really want to show you. And that's the beautiful Hudson River. Riverside Cemetery is aptly named because it's here on the edge of the Hudson River. We are north of Schuylerville, and it's a great river. Much less polluted now that it's been dredged. And I don't think you want to eat the fish out of there, but anywho, here we have died on the morning of 20th August 1852. Sarah Margaret, wife of George Henry Bragg and daughter of S.T. Shepherd, it looks like, Esquire, and Sarah his wife, on the 20th year of her age. So these are facing a different direction. And this is Mary Jane, wife of George Henry Bragg, daughter of S.T. Shepherd Esquire, and Sarah his wife. And this person died January 25th, 1850, in the 19th year of her age. Well, 19 years, 5 months, and 21 days. Ooh. I wonder what came through. Oh, there's some urnies. There's some nice plain Robinson, Shepherds. Now, I usually go through an old cemetery, and then you often see where the names come from for the streets or the different buildings that are in a town. So we get over here into the newer section. Galusha. Governor Galusha is from Vermont. Some Teffs. Now the Teff family settled in Greenwich, which is not too far from here, and actually I think they settled in what's called Galesville before that. So these are probably some of their cousins. Asa C. Teft died in 1885. Was born in 1800, 85 years old. Easy math. And Caroline Bassett, his wife, and she was born in 1807 and she died in 1888. Another good long life lived. And Caroline Teft, she was born in 1884 and died in 1906, so a bit younger. And then we move on over here, and we get newer and newer as we move along, mixed in with the old. Well, let's see what's over here. This looks like a newly marked grave amongst some very old ones. 1805, George Gamble and Reuben. Reuben died in 1863. That's a pretty good old stone. And we've got some newer stones. The King family. Oh, we've got a hand. Mary C., wife of Daly. She died at 27 years old. 27 years, 4 months, and 12 days. But she's going up. It's an interesting motif. And then some littles. These are probably babies. But the marble's so soft that you can't read them anymore. And it's funny that some are facing this way and some are facing that way. Fell asleep. Fell asleep. No, his wife fell asleep too, apparently. October 17, 1880, 70 years old. And then Amanda, his wife, also fell asleep, 1878, and she was 60. Gone home, it says. I don't think I've ever seen that. Gone to sleep. Different. Well, weaving and back and forth and all around. Silas Bristol. Wow, born in 1818 and died in 1890. Can you only imagine the life, the changes these people saw in their life? There's Phoebe, 1822 to 1879. Another Bristol, Isabel Shepherd, and Margaret Shepherd. And then we have some new stones here. Well, this one's so new, there's nothing even on it. I guess to be announced. We'll see. But it's a pretty nifty little cemetery. It's short and wide, kind of like the one in Cambridge. So it's a bit of traversing. I don't see any zinkers in here. I do see, well, things that could have come from the Sears catalog, I suppose. I don't know. They're not classic Sears. I do like these benches though. I think these are kind of neat. The old sit and contemplate. Visit with your ancestor. Think about where you are. And that's it. So, Sarah Gone Rogue, over and out. Remember, don't knock anything over.
Ooh, and replace your divots.
Yikes.